Let's head back to the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
Hi, this is Rico. After a couple of days to calm down, I just want to ask, why does Stefanski hire Ken Dorsey yet refuses to give up play calling? What is the point of hiring a new offensive mind only to tuck him away during game day? Don't get me wrong, I absolutely believe in Stefanski, but I'm just genuinely confused as to why he just refuses to give up play calling. Now, from the couch, watching on TV, he looked uncomfortable calling Dorsey's plays. And I'm sure Dorsey has his own rhythm, his own cadence, his own ideas of when to call, how to call it, and why to call it. I just wish Stefanski would just swallow his pride and give up the responsibility of calling plays so he could concentrate on being the head coach of the team and relegate the duties to his staff. I just think there may be too many voices in Watson's head. What say you? Thanks.
As always, appreciate all of the voicemails. Let's welcome in Jake Burns from BrownsFilmBreakdown.com. Jake, there's a couple things with that. Number one, Kevin Stefanski earned the right to be a head coach based on his offense, his play calling ability, and those kind of things. And the other thing is, Ken Dorsey's a really good quarterback coach, and I think they really want him to work with Deshaun Watson. That's kind of my reaction to it. Just what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, there's the framework of like someone's calling someone else's plays is just not how it works. They work in a collaborative effort to build out how they want an offense to look. It's not like Ken Dorsey comes and slaps his playbook down on the desk and says, "All right, this is what we're using this year." It's a baseline of what Kevin has done, the verbiage Kevin has used, and then they try to infuse the thoughts, ideas, and concepts from the guys they brought in. Obviously, heavily included by Ken as the offensive coordinator with the title, but also by Tommy Rees, and then also by others that have come into the building. And there's been a lot of new names: Andy Dickerson, Deuce Staley. It's a potpourri of styles they're trying to melt together to form one offense that is cohesive for the quarterback that they have in place. So I just think that the idea people have of this is Ken Dorsey's offense that Kevin is calling, it's not how it works. Ken is coming into Kevin's world where it's been in place for 4 years and is trying to infuse a lot of the way he thinks about football through Kevin's recommendation into the fold of what they do. So again, there's a lot of assumption that happens here that just because Ken Dorsey is on the sideline or whatever, he could call a better game. And there's also the assumption that Kevin doesn't pull recommendations from him on a down-to-down basis. It's a world that we live in where we complain about play calling that we know like 5% of what goes into that, from pregame to the game plan execution. And it's just a world that I prefer not to get too carried away or too swept up in because we don't know enough about it. Ultimately, what will happen is if the offense isn't good enough, Kevin will be held accountable for that. That will happen in due time. And I don't think that just throwing your hands up in the air with an assumption that Ken Dorsey would be better at this right away is a world I also don't want to be in. So it's tricky, and I understand the people are upset after the first week, but I think we know an answer to something that we just generally have no idea how it operates. So I just kind of would hold on to that stuff and with an understanding that if you're anti Kevin and his approach, like it's gonna be his bottom line eventually. So he has to make the right choice, and it's a bunch of choices that we don't understand and we're not privy to anyway because they're just things that we are again not able to understand on the outside looking in.